that in his best judgment and for the safety and survival of the lion cub, he would take him to his farmhouse and care for him. So over the next 8 months, the shepherd hand-fed this cub with fresh milk, kept him warm, safe, and secure in the protective confines of the farmhouse. After the cub had grown into a playful and energetic ball of shiny muscle, he would take him out daily with the sheep to graze. The lion grew with the sheep and became a part of the herd. They accepted him as one of their own. He acted like one of them. And after 15 months had passed, the little lion cub had become an adolescent lion. But he acted, sounded, responded, and behaved just like one of the sheep. In essence, he had become a sheep by association. He had lost himself and had become one of them. One hot day 4 years later, the shepherd sat on a rock, taking refuge in the slight shade of a leafless tree. He watched over his flock as they waded into the quiet, flowing water of a river to drink. The lion, who thought was a sheep, followed them to the water to drink. Suddenly, just across the river, there appeared out of the thick jungle bush, a large beast that the lion cub had never seen before. The sheep panicked, and as if under the spell of some survival instinct, they leaped out of the water and dashed towards the direction of the farm. They never stopped until they were all safely huddled behind the fence of the pen. Strangely, the lion cub, who was now a grown lion, was also huddled with them, stricken with fear. While the flock scrambled for the safety of the farm, the beast made a sound that seemed to shake the forest. When he lifted his head above the tall grass, the shepherd could see that he held in his blood-drenched mouth the lifeless body of a lamb from the shepherd's flock. The man knew that danger had returned to his part of the forest. 7 days passed without any further incident, and then, while the flock grazed, the young lion went down to the river to drink. And as he bent over the water, he suddenly panicked and ran wildly toward the farmhouse for safety. The other sheep did not run, and they wondered why the lion ran. The young lion wondered why they did not run, since he had seen the beast again. After a while, the young lion went slowly back to the flock and then to the water to drink again. Once more, he saw the beast and he froze in panic. What he did not recognize was that he had seen his own reflection in the water. While he was trying to understand what he was seeing, suddenly the beast appeared again out of the jungle. The flock dashed with breakneck speed towards the farmhouse, but before the young lion could move, the beast stepped into the water toward him and made that deafening sound that filled the forest. For a moment, the young lion felt that his life was about to end. He realized that he had not just seen one beast, but two, one in the water and the one across the water coming towards him. His head began to spin with confusion as the beast waded through the water within 10 feet of him and growled at him face to face with that frightening, powerful sound in a way that seemed to say to him, "Try this sound and come and follow me." As fear gripped the young lion, he decided to try to appease the beast and made the same sound. However, the only noise that came from his gaping jaws was the sound of a sheep. The beast responded with an even louder burst that seemed to say, "Try it again." And after 7 or 8 attempts, the young lion suddenly heard himself make the same sound as this beast. He also felt stirrings in his body and feelings that he had never known before. It was as if he was experiencing a total transformation in mind, body, and spirit. Suddenly, there stood in the river of life 2 beasts growling at and to each other. Then the shepherd saw something he would never forget. As the beastly sounds filled the forest for miles around, the big beast stopped, turned his back on the young lion, and started to walk towards the forest. Then the beast paused, turned and looked at the young lion, and one more time growled as if to say, "Are you coming?" The young lion knew what that gesture meant and suddenly realized that his day of decision had arrived. The day he would have to choose whether to continue to live life as a sheep or to be the self he had just discovered. He knew that to become his true self, he would have to give up the safe, secure, predictable, and simple life of the farm and enter the frightening, wild, untamed, unpredictable, and dangerous life of the jungle. It was a day to become true to himself, to find his true form, and leave the false image of another life behind him. It was an invitation to a sheep to become the king of the jungle. More importantly, it was an invitation for the body of a lion to possess the spirit of a lion, the thinking of a lion. After looking back and forth at the farm and the jungle, the farm and the jungle, for a few times, the young lion turned his back on the farm and the sheep with whom he had lived for years and followed the beast into the forest to become who he had always been created to be, the Lion King. Two interesting stories which relate to every one of us. Is it possible that you were born a lion, but you are living the life of a sheep because it's comfortable, it's secure, it's safe, you are cuddled? Could it be possible that you are feeling unaccountable, illogical stirrings to be more than you are, to do more than you are doing, to be better than you are, because you're an eagle created to fly in the unlimited open expanse of the skies of heaven, but you live among chickens and you think like them? Ladies and gentlemen, some of the things we would have to discuss over the next few weeks would have to deal with environment, atmosphere, association, and self-discovery. The two stories I have read, one obviously ends in a very pathetic way. A farmer found an egg. It looked different from the eggs he knew. He was curious to find out what this would hatch into, joined the egg amongst the eggs of its hen. She brooded over the eggs. They hatched. All but that one egg became chicks. This one became an eaglet. But the farmer brought that eaglet up as a chick. It scratched the earth, looked for earthworms, fed on insects, was cackling, was clucking like a chicken, but it was an eagle. There is always a particular point in everybody's life when questions begin to brood in you. Sometimes it's a season in your life, maybe a season of adolescence, or just sometimes it's a season of destiny, when something starts telling you, I am more than I am. I am bigger than I am. I am greater than I am. I can do more than I am. My life is not just locked to a 9-to-5 job or an 8-to-5 job. My life is not just locked in a title Mr. or a title Mrs. with 3 children. There is something more that I can do. Yet sometimes the challenge is that you have the eagle desire, the eagle DNA, you are made for the skies, yet the environment in which you find yourself is earthly. So instead of flying in the open skies, using the adverse currents of life to go